In this video, we're going to cover the overall game plan of the date. So we have a whole bunch of different videos covering different aspects of the date. So where to bring her and how much to spend and how to sexualize and so on, how to connect with her. And I want to connect everything for you in this video so that all the puzzle pieces come together as a picture and you know essentially what it's supposed to look like. So the first thing I want to talk about is if this girl's coming on a date with you, she 100% wants it to go somewhere, okay? This is a fact. No woman's ever coming on a date with you hoping you completely waste her time and that this whole thing bombs and she walks out like, wow, this guy's an idiot. Okay, she doesn't want to feel like that. No one wants to feel like that. No one ever goes anywhere thinking it's going to be a waste of time or hoping it's a waste of time. So if she shows up on the date, she wants you to man up. She wants you to lead this whole thing and create an awesome experience for her. So outside of that, really the only reason why she'd ever come on a date with you if she wasn't already into you is if she wanted free drinks or she wanted free food or something like that, in which case it'll still give you an opportunity to create something from it. Because even if she came there with the wrong expectations or nothing helpful for you guys to actually lead somewhere, you'll still be able to demonstrate a lot of great qualities and sort of get her to change her motive, okay, if that makes sense. Now, there's also a really huge reason why I don't recommend spending a whole lot on the first date because you're just getting to know what kind of woman she is. So I said $10 to $20 is plenty. This is why I recommend being physical with her and sexual with her without being over the top, because it's going to allow you to weed out any and all women that are going to waste your time and who are not actually interested in you. So what do you actually do on the date? The first thing is you want to make sure to dress well, okay? You'll follow the instructions that I laid out in the presentation course if you purchase that, if you have access to that. But the rundown here is you want to look awesome, okay? Not suit and tie awesome, not super black tie event awesome. We're talking about just looking fresh, looking neat, looking put together and clean, wearing clothing that matches and it fits you well. Okay, I see guys wearing clothing sometimes that it looks like you could fit 4 of them in their clothing. I don't know why, but do not dress like that. Now, the first thing is, outside of that, you want to make a move when you first meet her, okay? And it should be flirtatious. So give her a nice masculine hug, okay, with like your arm around the back of her neck kind of thing, like pull her in a nice flirtatious, firm, but masculine way. It's very important. And give her a nice kiss on the cheek and tell her how amazing she looks. It's very, very important. And tell her how sexy she looks. So it should sound something like, damn, you look incredible, or damn, you look so sexy today. Okay, you want to start the date off flirtatious. It's very, very, very important. Then you're gonna walk over to the date location, or if you're already at the date location, just find your seat. But remember, you always wanna stay within 10 minutes away from wherever it is that you live. It's very, very important. And if you didn't meet her in your neighborhood, all right, it's fine. You work with what you got. But stay within a few minutes away from wherever your car is or the best spot to hop into an Uber. You don't wanna have to start walking 20 minutes, especially if it's like bad weather, to go find your car or to get access to an Uber. It should be very, very seamless, very convenient. Now, make sure that you're treating her in a very warm and welcoming way from the very, very beginning, and be prepared to do most of the talking. Okay, a lot of guys don't like having to do the talking, but realize this is actually a privilege. This is a great thing. She's not going to do most of the talking on her own in most cases, but it's going to allow you to fill the conversation up with quality information that she wants to know about you. That you have a great lifestyle, that you're smart, that you're a caring guy, that you're a fun guy, that you're a cool guy. If she does all the talking, she doesn't really get to know any of that. So it's very, very important because now she gets to fall in love with you. She gets to fall in love with your character. She gets to be excited about being out with you. So I talk about this in a lot of detail in the video about how to build a connection, so make sure to watch that. But remember, while you're going to be doing a lot of the talking, when she's ready to speak, you shut up and you let her talk, because this is her opening up to you and this is her investing into you. But remember, conversation topics need to be important, so don't let her drag on about topics like about how she got into a fight with her boss or her coworkers cheating on her boyfriend or something like that. That stuff doesn't help you guys connect to each other unless there's a purpose to it. Like she talks about the value of honesty and she gives you that as an example. I get that. But don't let her talk about things that don't matter. Cut it off, move on to something that matters more. Now, as far as where to bring her for the date, remember, 1 location, maybe 2 if she really, really needs it. Keep it simple, keep the cost low, and it should be somewhere that's easy for you guys to connect without a lot of chaos going on. You're not meeting her at a club, okay? A nice cafe, a nice smoothie shop, whatever. My favorite spots are frozen yogurt, and I also really like acai bowls. Those are great. It's this Asian food that's healthy, and it's fun to split it with her. It makes it even more of a nice bonding moment where I treat her basically like she's my girlfriend. I also really like drinks. I love cocktails, wine. These are all really, really nice, lighthearted, and frankly pretty inexpensive. You could spend easily less than $20 on any of these things, okay? Now, as far as where to sit close to her, not on top of her, right? You're not gonna be like leaning onto her, but you should be close to her where this could feel nice, flirtatious, and like she's already your girlfriend. If you have 2 bar stools that you could sit on, grab those because those are great. You could adjust how much space you have and so on. You get to sit facing each other, which is very, very important. Now, if you have a circle table, a round table, sit next to her like that, okay? That's an awesome option as well, where you both get to look at each other, but it's not like cranking your neck like over here for 40 minutes, okay? So you gotta sit next to her, facing her, without cranking your neck. It's awesome. And it'll also allow you to escalate on her and be touchy with her in a way where she's comfortable with. So putting your hand on her thigh when she's ready, pulling her in for a kiss, all that stuff is really, really awesome. Now, if you can't comfortably sit next to her, there's not a whole lot wrong with sitting across from her. A lot of guys don't like it, and I could say it's not totally my favorite either, but there's nothing wrong with it. So what you do instead is you'd reach your hands over at various parts of the date, and you'll hold her hand as you look her in her eyes and start telling her stories about yourself, complimenting her, telling her how sexy she looks, maybe bringing up sexual stories that we talk about in the sexualization video, okay? All these things are going to be very helpful. And what you could also do is at various parts, maybe while you're waiting for your order to come or while you're waiting for the bill to come, you could actually go over and sit next to her, and then you could put your hand on her thigh or kiss her or put your arm around her. All those are at your disposal. Outside of that, maybe there isn't room next to her, right? When I'm saying that, I'm kind of thinking of a booth situation where it's 2 seats next to you, 2 seats next to her, and in between you have a table and you kind of are able to face each other. But now you could actually move over and sit next to her, okay? And it's gonna be very, very cool. And then when your food comes or the bill comes or whatever, then maybe you'll move back to your seat. But that is gonna be phenomenal. Now, if you don't have that option, maybe all there is 1 seat, that's fine. You could always get up in the middle of the date, walk over and give her a kiss. And even if you don't get it, that's totally fine because at least she knows you're going for it and you see her in that light and you do like her, okay? And that you're not the guy who's gonna bitch out on making a move, which is 90% of men, okay? You like her, you're gonna make a move, you see her that way and you're excited about it. It's gonna make it nice and it's gonna make it romantic. Now remember, if you wanna bring her home, you have to see the pull early on in the date, okay? It's not gonna happen on its own. You have to set it up. So the way you do that is within the first few minutes of the date, you're going to introduce the idea in a warm and welcoming way that you want her coming home with you, okay? And we talk about that in the seating the pull videos and setting it up, but you want to introduce the idea, start setting the expectation early on, and then let her have the rest of the time to wrap her head around the idea and feel confident that that's actually a really, really good idea, that you're actually the kind of guy who she was hoping for, right? A guy who she likes, a guy who likes her back, but at the same time, this is actually gonna lead somewhere, unlike 90% of dates and interactions where there may be cool conversations, but they don't actually go anywhere because the guy was too afraid or too oblivious on how to make a move properly. Now, as far as how to actually take her home, within somewhere around the last 10 minutes of meeting up with her, of being on the date with her, and where you want to actually start leading her toward your home, you want to prepare her for that. So you'll say something like, okay, so when we finish up with our drinks, by the way, we can walk over to my place and we'll open up that bottle of wine. Or you could say to her, okay, so well, let's go and get the yogurt, and then after that I actually put a bottle of wine in the fridge, so it's gonna be nice and chill, and then we'll eat quickly and we'll walk over, we'll open up that bottle, or I'll show you the nice view, right? Okay, so when we finish eating, by the way, I'll show you where I live. I have a beautiful view, you're gonna love it. It's gonna be really nice. I actually even have a bottle of wine I got for us, and we'll open it up, and I think you're gonna love it. very, very simple. Right, that was kind of like a mix of seating the pole and also, again, at the end being like, awesome, okay, so we're gonna go and let's go open up that bottle of wine. Like something very, very simple. It's kind of dependent on how quickly you're gonna bring her back. Okay, sometimes you can do it within the first 10 minutes. Other times it'll take you like 40 minutes, an hour, whatever. But again, when you're wrapping up the date, it's going to be very important for you to say, okay, cool, so let's finish these up and we'll get out of here, or we'll start walking over. Now, outside of that, the only thing you really, really want to be cautious about is landmines on the way home. Okay, you need to be aware of that, and I created a whole video for that on avoiding it. You just don't want to have a situation where some person like a solicitor comes up to you guys and takes over the conversation and basically destroys the whole thing because he killed out the vibe or anything like that. Outside of that, just don't do anything stupid. And on the way home, if you haven't already, which you should have, okay, you want to start leading it to be even more sexual, okay? Start amping it up a little bit. So I talk about going in for a kiss, so as you're walking with her, you could just stop, you're holding her hand, and then you could kind of pull her in for a kiss, put her arms around you perhaps, go in for a kiss, okay? You could also do that on the actual date, but at the very latest, I'd really go for it is on the way home. Start getting her even more excited about going home with you since the date was going so well. And if she's not ready for that, then I actually recommend baby stepping her there. So you would say, okay, well, why don't we do this? Do you like cookies? Or whatever, pick something. I don't really care. It should be next to you and it should be something generally enjoyable. And you'll say, do you like cookies, let's say. And she's like, yeah, I like cookies. You're like, awesome. So why don't we do this? There's a cookie spot right near where I live. We're gonna go there. We'll get some really awesome cookies. They're delicious. They have chocolate chip, sugar cookies, a whole bunch of different options. So we'll get some cookies, and at the end of that, if you feel more comfortable with me, you trust me more, you see my neighborhood's nice and clean and I don't live anywhere sketchy, then we could go inside. And if not, no big deal, maybe the next time. Okay, really not a big deal. I just know you'll really, really like it, okay? Sounds good? And so it just makes it more fun, flirtatious, and very teasing-like. Again, she'll love it, okay? And you'll have a lot of fun with it too. That's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.